kudocha ingi tumini ya kitu kila chati ya natu ene na unenania yulo wa Kavoo bamwe na stress ila si tu mamo no anu ingi makwatu ani kwa ni Kavoo lakini unawe ta yulo wa stress kwa tu ende si bago
nina chakana stress is ni kitu kisio muno na nijo kutumi andu engela alame na Kavoo na kaide nundu stress tamba kuita stress nundu waida stress Kavoo ni Kavoo na nijo kutumi ila woka sometimes no sio kata daktari na muno daktari ndenda uthibudini peke ni kukuthina ngone kwako andu engi mayitikila yes most people don't accept kana peke ni kukuthina lakini no sio usethia ni wa mana peke ni kukuthina na ni chao na pe andu in life we are one kunanga stress isa mundu usiwe ni wisi pala ukwata wane kana wisi ani wa stress ka
wa stress
ti wengi na hicho kutumi it's good to know what is the cause of that stress muno that stress ni nondo na kwa siana nondo pia sengi maigino ya siana kaza kana wona takateka shida ke miaka 12 kana miaka 7 kana 8 sasa kana kupe kinokyoka stress ya school na kana wone kwambe koronika po nondo athinoso kana kaza weane no thukuma na pe mundu oka weane we wake ni ukonenga stress muno they are the bosses ukaje there we are wake oka weane ukonenga stress
ukileona liamo
okay wa
kaja stress
yoka it's good to know ne kudusio kama na kila kitu kutuma wethwa na message na maingi chao na kila kutuma wethwa na kiuyu ngone kwa kuni chao what is giving you that problem now it can rise from somewhere stress ndiye nda mention in family life in marriage life because nondo that's where the center is of stress kitina cha stress na sometimes with their mundu and stress in the family life na enough stress weane that person is finished be okwa kwa uchanda chakeli according to hypertension nondo uchanda na hypertension they are the same nicho kitu mundu enda kitu andu ingala meta uchanda mekala muno meta wana high blood pressure nondo za kwethia when you are stressy when wapineke buna do what to do na nicho kitu when stress mo them bosu no sio ukadhikwa na counselor okay no sio kadi in women are better men are also they can try you try to open to one person nondo this stress ni a real problem na it is a real disease now when stress is good to open to somebody first woman kana stress na chakeli you open to somebody no because a problem shared is a problem I've solved na hicho kitu wa open to a counselor na muno of course it's good to open to the pastors or to the priest because those ones they can keep your personal things ni kana ila wataja another let mundu mo kana mundu mukonge aenda wataja enda jonge na you stress weza kumewa yikira kingepea you multiply but the pastors those are trained and of course all the priests are trained on management counseling it's very important in fact those are the best because they work with you in stress both physically and spiritually that becomes better to solve your stress so that's one of things that remember kana onda na kwanza when na stress is good to check how you can deal with that stress because dealing with this is quite important na udeal na stress there are many ways be ila meditation ukekalande ukesita ndende ni chao kwa this stress and I can deal with it myself kila kinga na makorani stress pe and makorani stress medukia music but depend ya wenda yeba pela mende gospel music pela mende katole lanki ola wendete is because that's a way music is a way of dealing with the stress now ila stress singe pamuno na ndo is how to deal with it you try to run from it either fleet or fight fleet is to run or fight it na ando ingela medha na stress nyingi they end up into drugs that you make it more complex na hicho kitu umeona ando ingi manusa they go to drugs, they either kunyoki kana utumia ndawa ila ingi no, because the food is not very good. No, if you go to taking the drugs, that's even worse. Let's go to more now. This is not good. Like it happens. Most men want to come home when they are drunk, so that they don't have the because they are trying to run away from the stress. They are is not hearing that. That's not the way to solve the stress. Na siana nini mono asiana si school. Yes, na stress siambia into drugs. Drugs which are becoming very common nowadays. The commonest to get is smoking. Smoking is the normal smoking, or taking banky, which is quite common in schools nowadays because you want it, and taking alcohol and all that. That's not very good. And heroin and cocaine and amphetamine, abuse, drugs of abuse, which are not very good. Now, to me, stress, apart from causing the normal disease, like it causes other major problems. Now, to me, Kavoo is not very good. Now, to me, the way I've said from the beginning, it's good. I would say the amount of counseling early enough. We say that no be work with somebody with this stressful. Apart from Kavoo, it can bring more other problems. No, I mean, with the drugs. Now, the amount of is not very good. Now, there is end point of stress. Where, okay, yes. Yeah. Ila mundu wana maisha ni madala, ane madala, kila kebo, no kakanda. Yeah.
Tofauti ya stress na depression.
Now we are coming there. Now, ila wa stress is a medemba mingi. Pela without you are stressed and you want to move. You want to act on it. You want to do something about it. You want to act so that it is not there. Now you are acting. Stress ni bikabando, you give up. That's depression now. It's okay, that was depression. Now, when you go to depression, is when you go to suicide. Yes. The stress is when you can act. Now you are trying to fight it, either fight or flee, and we become depressed. That's the worst part of with the stress. Now, depression is so common. Now, it took to me, Ilawa get depressed, and they end up now committing suicide. Nundu, Ilawa, you are stressed and you want to run out of it. That's you are fighting and trying to. Like Ilawa, give up. You give up and you give up and you give up in life. That's kuna matukwano. Suicides are very common. Most men commit suicide. Now there are so many ways of committing suicide. There are people who even cause accident to commit suicide and so many other things. The commonest which is used is by hanging, which is quite common nowadays. Now when no sio, it's good to be your brother's keeper. Now, you can have your friend who is depressed. Now, women need depressed. Kinu chambe edwa ambe yako withdraw. Whether ndeo nena nando. Indi mona nena ni weweka ambe yako withdraw. Na dharu noka weane mono ayuka keep time. Whether ndeo ka weane saani. No whether saingi kept. Because now into neck yangu ati ndego yangu na kiko other mundu muka they apply lipsticks kana yula ni air ni okay, that you can see there's a problem with this lady. Now when it comes like that, na many mayambi onywa yambe we are namsele anywete enunga all the time. Now it took to me nowadays because of that, especially for the alcoholism is a disease. Now most of the families, even in the village, lakini kunywa is a disease. Na we are treating alcoholism like a disease. Na and out our rehabilitation pando makazote nimambia kukewa na sana nimambia osiwa what they can do about it. Nondo kunyoki to some extent kunyoki wa kawaida is normal. Lakini wambe unyoki was said and wambe wasala weani na wambe yago we are kept because of that's alcoholism. That's not very good. Na alcoholism is a disease. Na you need to be taken for counseling pe counseling ila ni tiro na weta mbe lakini pela rehabilitation to go back into your normal life. And that's normally very important nowadays. And alcoholism is a quite serious problem now in Kenya. Before it was not, but now it's a serious disease, especially kwa andwala meothukuma na andwala enlightened. Once you go to alcoholism, becomes a real complex disease. And to me, it's good. Apart from now depression, na fighting it, na going to suicide, is good also to look backwards and check what can you do so that you come back to life. So stress and stress management is very important. Nundu all those steps kana ilate na weta no sio kati ya sion then kana usene watete kana nundu wa makweka you would spoil your life. And remember andwengi muno ni mamesia maisha mo nundu wa stress. Na kindu kila choka in stress ne kindu minimum lakini wa moke andonesa in your life it becomes a complex. Na stress which is complex it is very difficult to sort it. Nundu tawedwa na stress na whether na stress na wathi alcoholism, you go to separation or to divorce, you go to selling your property, you go to doing this. That becomes very complex. Remember now, especially for men, they do very badly, especially when after divorce or separation. Men, they just finish there. Because after that, now bringing back rehabilitation to that man is not easy. No, you have to sort the issue of divorce or separation. You have to bring the family together. That's very complex. Na zaizi na kapo na high blood pressure na ndi no ndo nyonke akitha na hypertension. Now you are dealing with the four things. You are dealing with the stress, there's peptic ulcer disease, there's hypertension, there's diabetes.
No, you know
yeah. Now solving that problem becomes very complex. Now to me when ilawa ambayo na stress kana panic attacks is good actually to start solving them early enough. Na ube wata nathi kunywa ndawa na wata namba kuthi kutumia any medicine, first sort it naturally yourself. Now treatment.
Yeah. Panic attacks is ya wata.
Panic attacks ni ila wa kwatone kido telema.
Yotonyo siya chota nukumetu naturally. Okay, ona singi umilela mundu itaye ukona mundu telema. Yotonyo siya kiweta.
First no lazima women. Na women are what gives you that panic attacks. No women are nula wakomana na akwata panic attacks. Of course some are natural. Like when myself when I'm driving, suppose you are driving and then you have clear brake and you find there are no brakes. You have to panic. That's natural. Yeah, that's natural. Kana ni we ride ngali na ngali ngi yongba wambe wakumetuke. You cannot brake. So that's panic, that's normal. Kana wakomana na pandupenda commotion. That's panic is normal. Lakini kindu kitu more panic every day is good to avoid it. Because it will give you nikikunenga thina maisha maku later in your life. Na to me, you try to avoid things which can give you panic attacks, and those panic attacks are not very good. One of the panic you can cause a panic attack. Those panic attacks, the blood pressure goes up. Na to me, saingila ila watele mwamono wambia onala. Yes, that's to show that there is something which is happening in your reaction of the body. Now that reaction of the body is not very good. The happen that nikanausa na kunenga the energy to run, ila na to fight or to flee. So ila wateleba, you can do a lot of things within that time before you come to a normal senses. Na joke to me, that take the routine kunenga panic attacks or that stressful acute stress. It's good to know how to avoid it or to attack it and remove it from our body or from our life or from our body, because if you keep wakanana kunukasa no they kunenga peptic ulcer disease kunenga hypertension. Yes, timina muno the kuita the stress is very easy and penda wala to tumia kuita stress. Onde tita kapoa penda to kunenga kuita stress, lakini muno stress ndienda ando matumia ndawa. Nundu ambio ntumia ndawa nundu stress nundu depression we tumia ndawa through your life na inda with asinsi yomono cha kuita stress nusio ukasort it naturally. Lakini mbona stress nukiasa penda wala to kunenga there are drugs for stress. Ila wala stress okazana in watu mea those drugs na muno ila wa stress muno you become psychotic, you become mad because of the stress. Now because of that, it's our manic depression. Manic depression is one which caused by the stress most of the times. Like in no joke that anyone sorted that problem of stress. Now, Ku penatu konenga lakini kila kizioni lazima we understand wa mwene. We personality ya kupian matele mama na pian maratele ma. And that's a topic for another day. Kanundu pian matele mama na pian mombe to mabwano kanu kanini ka hotel mia. Nange ona kinu kinene wena ona kinu kinene kinu kinini. Lakini in life make sure that you don't stress unnecessarily. Kinu kila stress ya mononi mbesa. The school fees zambika we say there asio na mayuya. Stress ningi and Kavoo and blood pressure, those are normal things. Remember, you are not the master of your life. And recommend our master their life. They have never given their life to the owner. That's God. God is the controller of your life. And recommend it's our achievement syndrome. You end up to get everything at a given time. No kwenda kutoa ngali, no enda kutoa kitaka, no enda kwaka, no enda at the same time. You must reduce your needs and you must accept the way you are. Notice there in life there's no competition. And that is very common, especially people who are young. They are 30 years or 40 years and you want to do everything at that time. Just give it and know yourself and know your abilities where you can. There are people who have got a problem today. And I've seen a guy is 28 years, the blood pressure is too high. 28. Na kwa pressure nondo, he sees that it's either late in life or this and that, and that man will have his life will never be complete because I'm beyond our 28 years. Those drugs are not very good, and that's to me. It's good to understand and know your limits and your abilities. All right, kwa achaisa maito kwa masito enda Dr. Geoffrey Mutuma kwa none na channel from Zambia, Australia, South Sea, Nairobi na wenda kungunia simu ni kwa jamu ndani azino nyingi muno wenda kungunia simu 0722801299 and noti muonza ile na 0 imwe ile kenda ile ya Airtel 0734801299 noti muonza itatu ina na noti imwe ili kenda. Asante, thank you. Asante.
Nende musesa bondo watu bika mudia wakilukito muthenyano wa mbicha Uiiti yokwati wako akana wabikia na kuteleka tukoma na tumwa ni tukite ndine wakilungu otaki nyende to Faith Mackenzie wa Mtunga Tiwanesa.